Good morning, folks. How are all you wonderful people this morning? I hope you're keeping well. Wednesday morning, so once we've done the intro and the weather, we'll get Davey in. I know that in most reports, the weather comes last. But in my report, the weather comes first. Alright. Numbers are climbing nicely. So who's in? Hello, Martin Boyd. Hello, Hootsman. Eddie. Jeanette. Jim Stevens. Who else we got? Hello, Melanie. Jane. Christina. Bruce. Hi, Margaret. A wee second for a couple more to get in, then we'll move on. Okay. We'll get plenty of notifications anyway that people are coming in the door. Good morning, Mr. Kelly. How are you, Barbara? And how are you? Good morning, Sir Larry the Cat. How do? Right, let's get on with this, shall we? Indy Truck Davey out the truck and at home in his office in Osbourne, North Lanarkshire, where it's a lovely morning, mostly sunny, 18 degrees, no rain in the forecast. It's expected to get as high as 21 by 1500 this afternoon. The pollen count is high. The main allergen, once again, is grass. Now that's what the weather conditions are like here in Salisbury, North Lanarkshire. If you want to know what the weather's like where you are, look at your own bloody windy. Alright. Right, let's get the other one in. We'll start the headlines. Of course, it's Wednesday morning where David plays the guy who's wandered into the supermarket. He's just had a look at the newsstand and he's trying to compute what the headlines actually mean. So we'll get him in. Good morning, David.
No, I wasn't looking for the headlines. I'm looking for the beans. Which way is it?
Third down on the left.
Aye, I'm fine.
Right.
Fine.
Now, first up this morning, David, we've got the Daily Fail. This one will be self-explanatory when I put it up. If I can find the fucking thing. Yep, the Daily Fail. Forces biggest security operation since death of Queen. Police ring of steel to protect President Trump.
Yeah, I know what it means, but I don't know the ins and outs of the actual article, right? But being a Scottish Daily Mail, you imagine it's a load of shite anyway. But that's beside the point.
It's just telling us that Police Scotland face the biggest security operation they've had to undercarry since they escorted the Queen's body through Balmoral down to London.
I hope that every single one of the Police Scotland bobbies have a full of sickie that are put on that duty. Yeah.
Aye. Right, anyway, next up we've got the Scotsman. Let's see what nonsense the Scotsman's got for us this morning, shall we? Okie dokie, here we go. We can cope, say police, as protests set to greet Trump. No intelligence to suggest violence or disorder, but senior officers have not spoken to groups.
Yeah, it's rewrite that. You should actually put, we can cope, say the protesters. However many people you get from other parts of the UK, we can tenfold that in the protest. So there you go. How's with that?
Well, basically, what they're saying is the intelligence shows that they haven't yet. There isn't intent for violent or disruptive protest.
Why on earth? Please explain. The logic of this is screwy. Why on earth would a protest group who are protesting in terms of supporting non-violence, stop the bombing, stop killing children, all the rest of it, why would they want to be violent?
Exactly. But you know how they tend to behave doing that road. We'll go a wee bit more into that later on.
Right.
Okay. Right, next up we've got the Herald, which inevitably always follows the Scotsman or the other way round. And the Herald this morning has Scotland's rape law could risk breaching ECHR, says the Faculty of Advocates and the Law Society of Scotland.
Scotland's rape laws? No, sorry, the Convention on Human Rights. Is something changing? Scotland's
No, David, the story's a bollocks. It's got nothing to do with the law itself. It's got to do with the people who interpret the law. And what the Faculty of Advocates and the Law Society of Scotland are saying, and this is why this headline's a lie, is that the judges involved in rape cases are not quite clear on what should be admissible in evidence and what shouldn't be admissible in evidence. That's got nothing to do with the law itself. That's got to do with their interpretation of the law.
Yeah, so therefore, the judges are having to fucking work for their money. That's good. Right, move on.
More importantly, what this tells us is the Faculty of Advocates and the Law Society of Scotland need to get together with the government and stamp out some guidelines on what's admissible and what's fucking no.
But the thing is, though, you're a judge. Judge.
Exactly. That's what we're paid for. Right, next up is the Daily Record, David. As you know, we don't put their answers up. And it's got Black Sabbath legend dies at 76. R.I.P.
My two grand nieces were across in Birmingham to see one of his last concerts. And I've actually got footage on that thing. And it's a shame. They're well and truly upset. They came from Canada to see that. And they're fair enough. You know, Ozzy Osbourne, in actual fact, I saw a couple of his programs. He seemed all right. You know, he wasn't the rock legend that we all put him down as. He looked pretty stupid, pretty docile most of the time. Yeah, so
pretty whacked out his brains and either drugs or alcohol makes his brain, wasn't he? Yeah. But you know, to be fair, his band were a cutting edge metal metallic band, you know.
I bought their very, very first album. And it's like, didn't like them, but there you go. That's that. Come say, come sa. Yeah. So.
Right. Well, anyway, the Scum has the same story. And it goes as Ozzy Osbourne, 1948 to 2025. The Wonderful Wizard of Ozzy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Mental. Right, next up we've got the Times. Now we're starting to get back into serious stuff, folks. Other end. Looks it. Yep. No, where the fuck's the Times went? Right, the Times. Now, the Times got two interesting headlines, David. CEO on the picket line. British Medical Association confirms strikes will go ahead in England, and that's the junior, now called residents doctors, are at war with the government.
Yeah, well, we knew Labour would stick their heels in. We knew that. You know, that was a given. You know, so what'll happen is if they had the same ruckus in Scotland would just go, come on, let's come on out of the table. You want a cup of coffee, cup of tea, right?
Let's sit down, we'll put the books on the table.
Yeah.
Let's sit down, we'll put the books on the table, see what we can work out.
That's right.
That's how it should be done. Anyway, the main headline, PM fears for summer of riots freeing UK.
Well, to be honest with you, Starmer, he's done this himself. He's done it himself. And it's like people in England are now in a situation where they cannot protest on anything, even a quiet protest, without breaking the law.
Now, David, you get to the crux of it. What do you think this headline means?
Fears for summer freeing UK.
No, it tells us that the fascist bastard's going to stamp down even heavier on protest.
Well, we know that. I mean, that's a given, right? But the thing is, though, we're talking at the word freeing UK is rather good because in actual fact, it could end up in a break of 2 seconds. Who the hell is that?
Someone is at the front door. Someone is at the front door.
All right, Ziggy, shut up.
This like that, folks. Hold on to a shot and don't do it for a minute.
Whoa!
Right, I'll bring him back when he's finished with that. But what this actually means, folks, is Starmer's warning the people of England that if they try to protest, he's going to stamp down on them. And when he does stamp down on them, that's going to lead to riots. And as for the freeing UK bit, it's got nothing to do with the effing UK. It's got to do with England and the situation Starmer's created in England, where he's ignoring the people and the majority will of the people, where he's ignoring his own MPs. He's cracking down in protest. He's punching down in the poor. And he's a poor fucking excuse for a human being. It looks like I can get David back in now. But that's a warning, folks, that he's going to crack down and protest in England.
Yes, but the one thing is, it'll put additional pressure on the union.
I get that, David. I
Yep.
do. I mean, if they want to write headlines like that, that's great, because it just promotes your cause and Wales's cause.
Yeah. The fraying, I must admit, is very, very interesting. The choice of words.
But when it tells me is he's going to stamp down the Welsh Parliament, he's going to stamp down the Scottish Parliament, he's going to stamp the English people. That's what that headline tells me.
So the fears are actually felt by the reporter who's written that, who's probably union.
The government itself, David, who's
Yes, I know that. But what I'm saying is the reporter is probably pouring a little bit of him or herself into the actual story.
I don't know.
And saying, "Oh, I don't want the UK to fray."
No, that's not what the story says.
Right. We get it. Right. Move
what
on.
it says, David. No, hold on.
David, we don't waste time, so come on, hurry up.
I know, but what it says is Starmer's worried that the people are going to rise up. That's what it fucking says. The Telegraph has. Not other end.
Tory graph. Don't call it a telegraph. It's a Tory graph.
Police take pro-migrant protesters to asylum hotel. What do you think that means?
Pro-migrant protesters to asylum hotel.
Yep.
Absolutely. Something particular happened with people that were protesting against people being sort of.
Right. Let's
Tell me. Just tell me.
Right. This is about Essex police actually gathering up pro-immigration protesters and taking them to face off against anti-immigration protesters. And it seems to me, it looks like the police in Essex were looking for a fight.
Yes. Hey.
I think they're trying to spark riots, David.
Right by the Dartford Tunnel, eh? Dear.
So you think they're trying to spark riots?
The thing is, though, you look at it and you go, why would the police be doing that? That yet again is a control of behind the commanders. Basically saying, well, you'll do this and you'll do that and you'll do that. And it creates a particular effect, right?
As I say, as far as I could see, taking these two groups to face off was asking for trouble. And it would appear that the police in Essex were trying to spark a fucking riot.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying is there's a hidden agenda there.
Yes.
Behind doing such a thing. Yes. So
yes, it just doesn't make sense, does it? It's not the sort of thing the police should be doing.
No, it's not the sort of thing. It's not the sort of things Police Scotland would do.
No.
This is definitely down to the Met. The Met are one of the dirtiest, most corrupted police forces in the UK. There you go. I've said it. Come get me a constable.
Right, next up we're getting national. And this one has got to be in your fucking bonnet.
Oh, yes. Environment Minister John Reid's a fucking liar.
Yes, but David, as you said, he needs to be sued, not just by SEPA, Scottish Water, but also the Scottish whisky industry.
And the Scottish Government. Scottish Government are asking him for an apology. If he doesn't give that apology and a retraction, right, he needs to be taken to court. Because effectively, what you're talking about is, you're right, Scotland's food and water, food and drink industry is hugely important to us, right? Especially whiskey is the revenues are through the ceiling, and it relies on the purity of Scottish water. It's all the rest of it, right? And it's like, here's this bastard saying, "Oh, Scottish water's dirtier than more polluted than water in England."
Anyway,
right?
My line's interesting enough, and that is Scottish bills will rise to pay for English nuclear program.
Yeah, we know this.
Yep.
We know that what he's going to do is effectively, by November of this year, you're going to see English bills going up through the ceiling, but we will end up paying for it as well.
Yes.
He disbanded Ofwat yesterday. In actual fact, there's four regulators involved in the English water. So what he did was he disbanded all four. I don't particularly have an argument with that, but the moment he looks up the road and says, "Them bastards up in Scotland, they've got dirtier water than we've got, right down England," that's a lie. That's a lie. And he knew the gravity of what he was saying. He was just trying to stop having to pay money to privatise, to nationalise the water. As far as I'm concerned, the water companies have had their day. It would actually be entirely politically sound to actually walk in and say, "Sorry guys, you're out. We're taking over the water authorities from now on."
But he's not going to. He's just going to slag your water and ruin your whiskey and food and drink industry just because he can.
That's right. He's talking about one. Can I just have one thing out, right? He's talking about 100 billion being the cost of privatising. No, it isn't. If you've got a house and you add a chunk onto the house, the value of that house goes up, right? At the moment, Thames Water is struggling to get 4 billion for all its shares, right? If you fix the water authority, you own it and you fix it, you increase the value of it, right? So therefore, the British government would not be in a situation where they actually paid 100 billion. We would end up with an asset worth more than that.
David, see if the fucking idiots in there want to buy back something that already belongs to them. You're fucking stupid.
They don't have to buy. They don't have to. All they need to do is women say, "Sorry, you're out."
Correct. Right, let's move on. So it's up to the whiskey industry and Scottish water through the fucking now.
And the Scottish Parliament.
He was stupid enough to make a statement outside the Parliament chamber.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
So he's open to liable.
Yeah.
So let's move on.
Right.
Right, British workers will get emergency access to pension cash under plans to boost savings.
Right.
I think I'm going to have to explain this one.
Yeah, I think you are. Yeah.
Right, there's making changes to pension rules so that if you get into financial trouble and you've got money in a pension pot, you can access up to £1,000. It's capped at £1,000. So let's say I've got a workplace pension, right? And there's a few quid in it, and I run into financial bother. I can then write to that pension company and tell them my situation and ask them to give me the emergency drawdown of £1,000.
Fancy a night out somewhere. We'll go and get a skinful, get pissed. And I'll make a request.
I was going to say, well, they paid me a request. £1,000 not going to be enough to go for a baby fuck.
Well, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like I've got a private pension, but it's tiny. It's one that I got when I was working for a particular company, and it's like yeah. So
right, anyway, that's what that's about. Now this next one coming up, David. This was the biggest story yesterday, and the majority of papers have ignored it, and they've ignored it for a very specific reason.
Oh, you've whet my appetite. Come on.
So
Never mind the fucking beans. I want to hear. I want to know about this. Come on.
Okay, here we go. The Guardian. Israel faces growing outrage over indefensible killing of citizens.
There's now 28 countries that have admonished Israel,
including David Lammy. He gave a speech in the Parliament yesterday. He got ripped a new bahookie.
Yeah, too little, too late.
And at the end of his speech, the declassified UK flashes up flight for Cyprus Akrotiri over Gaza.
Yeah.
Spy mission while he's in the Parliament condemning Israel. And he's got a spy mission up in the air on behalf of fucking Israel.
This has happened before, right? And to my mind, it's being done in that way on purpose. It seems that every time David Lammy gets up to speak, the plane takes off from RAF Akrotiri, right? And heading for Gaza to spot women and children that they can bomb the hell out of. The Israel can bomb the hell.
Yesterday, David, why do you think it's only one newspaper?
Because the other newspapers are run by people that don't want anything out about any bad news out about Israel.
Nope.
No, go on then.
Because they ignored it because they knew it was fucking rubbish. It was lip service to appease the public.
Oh, yeah,
anger.
You're talking about the admonishment of Israel.
Was to appease the public here.
Yeah.
Because of the rising anger right across Europe and European governments.
Yes.
As the horror intensifies and there's less and less Gazans left.
I think the major question there to the other countries that are involved is why now? Why not a year ago?
Why not 2 years ago?
Why not 2 years ago? Why? We're not quite 2 years yet, are we?
Laurie, you're quite right. He could have won a fucking performance at the Oscars for his fucking performance yesterday. It was pathetic. Naughty Israel, by the way. Here's the bombs. Here's the bullets. They meet a dead naughty Israel. Here's the spy point to tell you where the next bunch of people ought to fucking annihilate. What he did yesterday was an abomination. And there was MPs in there telling him, you're going to end up the fucking Hague here, boy.
Yeah.
And it's where he deserves to be, the bastard. Him and Starmer.
That's right.
Yeah.
Especially having a flight a spy mission take off from RAF Akrotiri and given that information to the IDF. The IDF, what they're going to do? Oh, thanks, guys, and not do anything. No, what they're going to do is they're going to take that information, they're going to load it onto their bombing missions or the missiles or whatever, and I pinpoint people to kill.
Yes.
Why are we doing this?
I don't know, but Lammy needs
I mean, at the moment, we are still part of the UK, so why are my aircraft pilots, RAF pilots, putting up with us? Why?
I don't know, David, but what I will tell you is this particular story is related to the earlier one about the PM Spears about riots inflaming UK.
Well, yeah, all that does is that adds to it.
That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm talking about. This is where the fears are all coming from.
Yeah.
And the reason why people are getting so angry with the government is they are doing nothing. They are allowing and assisting, and they are complicit in this genocide. And it's hurting the people of these islands because it makes us complicit in the fucking genocide.
But be honest with you, before the other day there, when I read about the 3 women that drove into the gate at Leonardo's that produce weapons that go to Israel and protect the tanks and all the rest of it, right? I didn't know of Leonardo.
Oh, I've over there.
Yeah, I don't know. I had no knowledge of it, right? I do now.
6 euros south in Edinburgh.
And but as far as I'm concerned, 3 women, brilliant. You got the message out there. We got it, girls, loud and clear. Thank you for that.
Right, here we go. Next one up, we've got the Metro. And the Metro tells us shock finding, even if you never had COVID, pandemic aged our brains. What do you make of that?
I think, in actual fact, this yet again is another story about the RNA. I've been told if I took the vaccine to go and get myself nicotine patches, fair enough, okay, but age the brain. Your brain is aging all the time. The worst of it all is the fact that people take statins. Statins get rid of cholesterol in your body. What's your brain made of? It's made of cholesterol. You're destroying your ability to actually replenish parts of the brain. So therefore, this must be daft. Go on.
No, it's no. What the study finds is fears of when the pandemic might be over and the actual lockdowns themselves, seen as all age. All right, that's what it says.
It's a load of crap.
David, let's get this straight. I'm not a doctor. I don't know whether it's crap or no, but it says the study shows that we all age because of the
That's a
lockdown.
fucking retro.
Huh?
That's a fucking retro.
I'm a doctor. You're sitting there walking away.
That's a fucking journalist.
Mate.
It's a journalist that wrote that. So fuck off.
You're sitting there waffling away as if you're some sort of fucking physician. Get a grip. Study says we all age. All right.
That age. When you get older. Yes. How long was it? How long was the pandemic? How long was the shutdown? How long was the lockdown?
We had 2 years of on and off. How?
Right. Well, there you go. Well, we did age. All of us.
Of course, we all get 2 year older.
Yeah.
Right. Let's get the start up. Because you're being fucking.
How can you fucking coffee? You've
I can make coffee.
coffee left
We'll get
now.
a fucking star up and we can bake open that cup of coffee. All right. You're a cantankerous old bastard this morning. Thank fuck we're not in a supermarket.
And them fucking beans. I still haven't found them beans anyway. Carry on.
Right, let's get the star up and see what stars go for us today. For traditionally, of course, I shut the book at this point because after all, it's going to be nonsense or a celebrity story or something like that. Anyway, what we got this morning, the star. Well, this morning's star is a tribute to Ozzy Osbourne, 1948 to 2025, trailblazer and rock god. Elton's tribute to the Prince of Darkness after he dies, age 76.
No, don't forget, I lived through this. I was writing the music at that time. I actually bought his first album, right? He was not a trailblazer. At the time, we had super groups like Yes and Deep Purple and Genesis and all the rest of it. They were the trailblazers. Ozzy Osbourne was good. It was all right, but it was, by the time the second album came out, it was the same old fucking shite, you know.
School's out for summer. That was the second one, wasn't it?
No. David, go on my next one. You know nothing about it.
Your next one. That's a star, you fucker. This has been hard work this morning, folks. This has been hard work. We thought we were quite a lot, you know. Right, that's a star. So that's what we'll go for you today, folks.
Yeah.
It was interesting, to say the least.
Don't Baxter says like watching an episode of Stallgame.
Oh my God. Say, being cantankerous this morning, people can't help it. But been some interesting headlines. Starmer fears riots and Essex police tries to start a fucking riot. You couldn't believe it. If it wasn't for England, you wouldn't believe it. You know, but because it is England, you do believe it.
Yeah, it's like Essex. You look at Essex, you go, it's Procter and Gamble. It's a big Procter and Gamble chemist site. The surrounding area of it is like employed by Procter and Gamble, making washing powder and all this, right? And you look at it and you think, blooming it, what on earth are the Met Police doing that
well,
for?
I think you've just explained it, David. The reason why they're all fucked up in Essex is there's a big fucking chemical plant fucking shite into their heat.
Do you know it's in the middle of that chemical plant, the grounds of that chemical plant? The church where they made 4 weddings a funeral. I've seen it. I've been there. Right, yeah. Seriously.
You're a wealth of absolutely useless fucking
don't forget, I was a sound engineer going around surveying places for putting
I know, you get big contract with it. Right, guys, that's it for this morning.
Right.
Normal service will resume tomorrow morning. Unfortunately, the double act's back in more for Monday.
David's meds kicking in. So it's your meds that are kicking in, Dave.
Oh, your fucking meds.
Oh, your meds.
I'm David. You're David.
You want a suck on this? There you go.
I'm David.
Meds. Aye.
Right, guys, that's it for this morning. Now, I'll delay a wee second because David says my internet was working great yesterday and I cut off immediately. So, thanks to the moderators. Thanks for anybody's giving us a super chat this morning. Thanks for entertaining us, David. And Alistair, don't worry, I caught his feet before he get too deep down the rabbit hole. Right, we'll see you guys in more. Bye for now.